Hello, friends. Very good morning. And once again, it's a matter of great pleasure for me to be with you once again in this YouTube video lecture series. And dear friends, I heartily welcome all the students of English Literature of BA Semester 2 of Hemchandracharya North Gujarat University and all the lovers of literature. So, dear students, today we are going to discuss about a very significant form of poetry and that is called ode. Because this form ode is already there in the syllabus of BA semester 2 of English literature in paper number CC201, and the name of this paper is Introduction to the Forms of Literature, Vyas. So, dear students, in this slide you can see the whole syllabus of paper number 1, that is CC201, I mean the core compulsory paper 201. So, in this how you have in the what you have in the BA semester 1, in the same way in this semester in CC 201 you also have 4 units in your syllabus. In the first unit you are given 2 topics to learn, and these 2 topics are epic as a form of poetry or epic as a form of literature. In this second topic, you can find that ballad as a form of literature or ballad as a form of poetry. As dear students, we know that uh, there are 3 major branches of literature, or what we can say that there are 3 major parts of literature, and these are poetry, prose, and drama. So in drama, we have tragedy, comedy, or what we can say tragicomedy, and in prose, we have novel, short story, essay, or what we can say the autobiography. In the same way, in poetry, we have lyric, ballad, elegy, epic, sonnet, and an ode. So here you can see that this epic and ballad, what you have in the first unit, this both are the forms of poetry. So dear students, in the second unit you can see that there are 2 topics are given in your syllabus, and these are John Keats' La Belle Damson's Mercy and Thomas Hardy's Her Immortality. Here in the third unit, you can see that Robert Burns' very famous poem, Red Red Rose, is given to you. And for your kind information, in the last YouTube video, I have already discussed about Robert Burns and his contribution to literature, and also discussed about Robert Burns' this poem, Red Red Rose. So this second topic is WB Yeats, When You Are Old. So dear students, in the fourth unit you can find certain acquaintances, and these acquaintances are divided into verse and prose. So in the upper line you can find that the various forms of uh, verse or various forms of poetry are given, and these are lyric, ode, sonnet, elegy, and song. In the gray line or in the second row you can see that various forms of prose are given in the form of acquaintances, and they are dramatic monologue, novel, autobiography, satire, and allegory. So dear students, today we are going to discuss about a very significant form of poetry, and that is called ode. So what is an ode? What is the definition of an ode, or kinds of ode, or prominent features of ode, or different types of ode, or what are the basic features of ode. We are going to discuss here in this YouTube video lecture. So dear students, as you know that almost most of the famous uh, forms of poetry or genres of literature are originated in Greek literature. In the same way, this form of poetry, I mean an ode, also originated in Greek. It has its origin in Greek literature, and ode has developed during that span of time. We can find many changes in ode from that of the initial stage. So we can look towards the initial stage of an ode and the today's developed form of ode. So we can understand it very easily. So if we want to understand the ode very easily, we have to go back at the initial stage of ode and today's developed situation or developed form of ode, and this is the best way to understand this form ode very easily. So dear students, now let's try to define an ode. And so the ode is a simple lyric, but it is longer than lyric. So, according to B. Prasad, or according to the definition of B. Prasad, it is a serious and dignified composition, almost always in rhyme and longer than the lyric proper. It is often in the form of an address and is sometimes used to commemorate an important public occasion. So here you have seen this definition. You can see this definition in this slide, and from this definition now we can come to the following things about an ode, or what we can say that from this definition we come to conclude certain things about an ode. So from this definition we come to know that first of all, an ode is a longer form of poetry and it's a very dignified composition. So from the definition we come to, or we can sum up that it's a longer poem and it's a very dignified composition. So dear students, now I would like to talk about its features in detail. So first of all, it is composed in a grand way. So dear friends, from the definition we can say that it is always or most probably composed in a grand way. It has a grand subject for composition, or what we can say that it has the grand subject matter or the theme. It has a very dignified style. It has a very dignified style. So in style it is also dignified. In style, or what we can say in manner, it is also in dignified manner. It has a very dignified tone for composition. Thus we can say that the subject matter of an ode is very serious. So the selection of subject or theme is serious, or what we can say that is dignified. So from the definition, another characteristic that we come to know is it is longer than lyric. So sometimes it is considered as a form of lyric, but it has more liberty or space or size than lyric. So, dear students, in odd, emotions are fully developed than lyric poetry because of the space or because of the size. Or what we can say that there is very scope for the development of emotions or passions in an ode. There's very sincere emotions, very serious emotions are taken as a subject matter for the treatment in an ode. Now, dear students, the third feature or the very important feature of an ode is that it is directly in the form of an address. If we look at Shelley's Ode to the West Wind, we can see that it begins with the lines. Here you can find in the slide, O wild west wind. Once again I repeat, O wild west wind. So this very first line denotes that it is an address. In the same way, if we look at John Keats' Ode on a Grecian Urn, we can also find that it begins with an address. Uh, Here the lines are given in the slide. Thou still unravished bride of quietness. So students, here we can clearly say that it's an address. Now the fourth basic features of an ode is sometimes it is based on the celebration of popular event of national pride or any national event. It is also based on celebration of a public event or the event which is most significant in society of that particular period. So let's talk about different types of ode. So dear students, basically there are two types of ode. So first we have the Dorian ode or the Pindaric ode. In the Dorian ode, we can find that this ode is sung with the accompany of dancers. Uh, in Pindaric ode or in Dorian ode, the Pindaric ode for the Pindaric ode, we can say that it comes from the Greek poet Pindar. From his name, this Pindaric ode comes to exist. This ode was originally chanted to the movement of the dance in a specific manner. So here we can see that the specific particular manner is very important for dancing in this movement. In this ode, there are three kind of stanzas. So dear students, in this slide you can see that there are three kinds of stanzas in Pindaric ode. The first one is strophe, second is antistrophe, and the third is epode. Dear students, strophe stanza is recited when the movement of dancer moves from right to left. At this moment, strophe stanza is recited. So please pay attention, dear students, here because it is very tricky. So I repeat it. Strophe stanza is recited when the movement of dancer moves from right to left, and at this moment strophe stanza is recited. This second one is antistrophe, and antistrophe is recited when the movement of the dancer moves from left to right. This stanza antistrophe is recited. Once again I repeat. So antistrophe, when the movement of the dancer moves from left to right, the stanza antistrophe is recited. So the third is epode. The third stanza is known as epode, and in epode the movement of dancers stand at the fixed place, or we can also say that they dance in a one fixed particular circle, and this stanza is known as epode. Thus, these set of three stanzas, strophe, antistrophe, and epode, are repeated so many times in a poem. Thus, in ode, this set of three stanzas are repeated again and again, or what we can say that it is repeated so many times. The first two stanzas, strophe and antistrophe, are equal in meter. The first two stanzas, strophe and antistrophe, are equal in meter, but the length and structure is different. Now the third stanza, epode, is correspondence in all. For example, Thomas Gray's ode, The Bard. If you make a detailed study of this ode, The Bard, you can understand the formation of Pindaric ode. So it's a very good example of Pindaric ode. Thomas Gray's ode, The Bard, is a very perfect and good example of the Pindaric ode. Now, dear students, the second types of ode is Horatian ode. It comes from the Roman poet Horace. The Horatian ode has less complexity in meter and stanza from that the Pindaric ode. So we can say that the Horatian ode is very easy and less complex than that of Pindaric ode. So it is also very easy to understand from the Pindaric ode. It consists of short stanzas of similar length. There is no definite number of lines in the Horatian ode. Thus, this kind of poem is made from small stanzas. But in all the stanzas have the same numbers of lines. There may be difference in meter, but the number of lines should be same in stanza. So it is very important. Please pay attention here, dear students. There may be difference in meter, but the number of lines should be same in stanzas. Some poets have made some changes in it so that the readers can understand it very easily. For example, the poets like P.B. Shelley, John Keats were using the regular stanzas. Shelley's Ode to a Skylark has a regular form. In all stanzas have fine lines. Ode to the West Wind also has a regular form of stanzas, and in all the stanzas have 14 lines. But in Wordsworth, the Immortality Ode, you can observe the irregular stanzas. Means some stanzas are small and some are long. Thus, this kind of ode is known as irregular ode. So, dear students, in this slide, I have listed some famous ode written from the pen of very famous writers like Shelley Keats Wordsworth. So here you can see that Shelley's Ode to the West Wind, Ode to a Skylark. These are the very famous ode. Ode to a Nightingale, Ode on a Grecian Urn. It's also very, and Ode to Autumn. These are also very famous ode from the pen of Keats. You can also find Wordsworth Immortality Ode in the history of English literature. So, dear students, this is all about ode, and if you like this video, please don't forget to press the like button and subscribe it. And this is all about ode. Thank you very much.